But I'm glad that you brought up the Lynels actually, because I wrote that down, and you guys are probably going to dump all over me for this. I forgot that they were in this game.
Oh no.
So when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, it's a Lynel. That looks different than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that was like, I mean, that was like the big exciting thing about Breath of the Wild is, I mean, obviously Lynels are in games past Legend of Zelda, but it was like they were one of the not there's a small roster of classic enemies who we have not seen beyond that game or in 3D, and it was like, wow, they finally brought this classic Zelda enemy into 3D.
Right.
But if you haven't played in a while, I guess I could see how you could forget, though. Shame on you.
Yeah, and they were
I got nothing.
and they were common throughout this game. They were all over the place. That whole real like north and northwest side of the world was just littered with these guys.
And Breath of the Wild did really capture how intimidating and scary they are. Not just in Legend of Zelda, it's like they just do so much damage. So it was cool to see that actually brought into a 3D, and it's like, well, we'll make them look as scary as they are.
They don't look, I don't think very, they look kind of colorful and I wouldn't say friendly, but I don't think they look intimidating. The Legend of Zelda, it has more to do with like,
Right.
I mean, if you look at their A Link to the Past counterparts, those guys look scary, and to a lesser extent, the Oracle of Ages and Seasons variants of them.
But once you take your first hit from one, it's like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna mess with these guys at all.
Yeah,
I think that's it. They don't look scary, but the fact that they hit so hard makes them frightening.
And they have more of an intimidation factor in a way than Breath of the Wild, because you go to a screen they're on and you're like, I'm just not gonna go this way right now. Whereas Breath of the Wild, you're just like, I'm just gonna circle around this line.
I'm running as fast as I can.
Yeah, you can escape or get by a little bit better.
It's very frightening too, because if you follow the Zelda dungeon walkthrough, you encounter a blue Lynel like almost right away.
Yeah,
I would say like within your first 10 minutes of playing.
the one that protects the white sword at the sort of the
Yeah.
north end, and that's the only Lionel that's not on Death Mountain. That's not, or at least not the northwest part of the world. And it's like, I like that they put that Lionel there in particular, because there's not much room to maneuver on that particular screen too, because it's water based.
Yeah, no.
There's a River Zora.
I still get intimidated by him because usually the way I go for it, it's like maybe I've done one dungeon, so I could die real quick from him still. So he freaks me out.
It's pretty much the equivalent of being Naked Link in Breath of the Wild, going up
Yeah.
and seeing this blue Lionel guarding this sword, and you're just like, oh my god, I hope I can sneak past this guy. Luckily I did. But man, I was kind of shaking in my boots when I saw him. I wasn't expecting to run into him until probably near the end of the game. So
I think it's a perfect placement for there to be one Lionel right there. Unlike some of the other screens later on where there's like 6, 7 of them on the same screen.
Yeah.
It's like you really want that upgraded sword. You
That's
got to
kind
pass
of
the test.
It's like an instance of like like sort of a storytelling element that's like not explicitly story, as there's this one blue Lionel guarding the white sword. I think that's pretty cool. So that's memorable.
it felt like foreshadowing, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of like, this is what you're going to be up against. Like, and it's since maybe it was just because like I got it so early into my playthrough, but it seemed to me as just like, here's one, you better be ready for a whole lot more down the line.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty pumped to see these guys.